Hello. Olá, Goulart. Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hello, Anna. Let's just waiting for people come in.
Cool.
Okay. Hi, Lindsay.
Hey, how's it going?
Just wait a few minutes. I have to say some advice for the people here. Thank you for being here. People, hi, Fernando. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay. So, today we have a really special guest here in our live streaming. A drummer from USA that we are following her for a long time. Me, Julia, our marketing department too, and I know that her don't know us until some months ago. Hi, Julia. Thank you to be here. And she have already having so many fans here in Brazil. I have to say that I'm very happy to have her today here. And don't forget, you can send your questions here using the question box down below. Write your question for Lindsay, and if you want to write in português, se você quiser escrever em português a sua pergunta, pode escrever em português que eu traduzo aqui, vamos tentar traduzir certinho para ela. Então use essa ferramenta aqui de perguntas que tem aqui embaixo, tá? Então, às vezes vou falar em português no meio, para vocês entenderem. Então, não sejam tímidos, escrevam suas perguntas para Lindsay. Don't be shy, write your questions here for Lindsay. So, we have this streaming today. Next streaming will be with Nano Drums from Argentina, and Saturday we have Lindsay Martin from USA too. So let's start with Lindsay Artkop. Okay. Don't forget to send your questions. Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
You have your earphones connect to your cell phone?
It's on my computer, but I could change that really quick. Okay, cool.
Okay, much better.
Awesome.
How are you?
I'm good. How have you been?
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's our pleasure to be here with you, to have you at our international series drum streaming.
Thank you. Yeah, I've seen so many interviews that you've done in the past, and you keep on doing more. That's really cool.
Yeah, really. What of the streams did you saw?
I've seen a bunch of the ones that you did with female drummers, and it's great that you guys are doing that. Are you guys a festival? It's called GirlsOnDrumsFestival.
Yeah, I'm the producer. we have here seeing us Julia Bax, our marketing department, our designer, and okay, let's start it. Lindsay, we have so many followers for you here.
Thank you.
Myself, I follow you for a long time, seeing your drum videos, Instagram, YouTube, of course, and we want to know your story here because we have time. So let's start. When you start up playing drums, do you have a family with another musicians, parents, musicians?
Yeah, I started playing drums when I was 6. Basically, I was in the music store with my dad and my sister because my sister was starting to play in the school band, and I saw drums and I really wanted to play. So my dad got me a snare drum and some sticks, and that kind of started me off. And then after that, I started taking drum lessons, and then I started playing in the school bands. And then I took lessons with other drum teachers along the way. I started mostly playing like orchestral stuff just on snare drum, and then I started to learn the bells. And then I really wanted to play drum set. So when I was about 8, I got a drum set and a drum set teacher. And then I started playing in like these rock ensembles at a music school in Connecticut where I grew up. And then I basically just tried to play in all the bands that I could, whether that was in school or like outside of school. I went to high school at Educational Center for the Arts in New Haven, and that's where I really kind of started getting more serious about music and studying jazz. I took like music theory classes and had a lot of private lessons and was in like jazz ensembles. And then I went to college at Berkeley in Boston, and I focused on drum set performance and some other stuff, like a little bit of business and songwriting. And then I moved to LA after that, and I've just been playing and teaching drums.
Yeah. I understand what you said, but you have some little problem with the sound. Do you hear me?
Oh, okay. I think it was on. I'm sorry. I think it was on Bluetooth for a second, but I disconnected it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Hello, Ana. Ana Barreiro is a Brazilian drummer that lives in LA.
Yeah.
LA. Do you know Ana?
Not personally, but I've seen your videos. You're amazing.
Hello, Ana. Please, Ana, mande suas perguntas aqui para Lindsay. Escreva para nós aqui. Participe aqui. Tem muito para falar, hein? Ana is a fantastic drummer. A really, really cool drummer. So you said that you start with 6, correct?
Yes. Did it cut out like right after I started talking?
Yeah. No. You don't have to repeat because I understand. But let's pay attention to the sound because I'm hearing a little hummer. I don't know. If
that might be the AC. I'm sorry. Let me go turn that off. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds very, very much better.
Okay, good.
Okay. So you started doing some classes. Did you study with Bernard Purdy?
Yeah, I did. When I was in high school, I went to go see one of my teachers play at a gig. And it was a local gig with a bunch of jazz musicians, and he just happened to walk in. And he introduced me to him. And while I was there, I asked if I could get a lesson. So it worked out, and he came to our house once and taught me, and we hung out, and that was cool. And then I think I went to New York at least like once for another lesson. So yeah, it was really great studying with him.
how it was to study with Bernard Purdy, because he's so cool, and how can I say, so spontaneous, playing drums, the shuffles, and he sings while playing. How about you, the class, and how was the lesson?
It was really loose, and it was really based on groove, and it was based more on feeling and philosophy rather than like reading or something like that. Because I think in general, when you're learning drums or like any instrument, like half of it is just about kind of learning how to use the instrument, how to play, and technique and stuff. But then when you get to this point where the basics of that are already covered, to get to that next level, when you study with somebody like that, or anybody around like, you know, his level, it's more about philosophy and kind of taking what you already know how to play, but just bringing it to a new level. So he was very focused on groove. I remember like he would tell me to just hit the floor tom and listen for how long that note would ring, just to kind of get a sense of like how that sounds by itself, and not just focus on like the notes that you're playing. But yeah, he was really fun, and it was mostly about like grooving. And if you like look up videos on, you know, him teaching the Purdy shuffle or something like that, the lesson was pretty much like the same vibe. It was a lot of just feeling it and talking about philosophy part of music instead of just technique or something.
Yeah. Did he comment anything about playing with Beatles?
I think he did bring that up, but I think at the time he was like writing a book about it. So he brought it up and he was talking about that, but then he was kind of like, that's what I'm going to talk about in my book. But I haven't read that book. So have you read the book?
No.
Okay.
We don't have this book here in Brazil. We have some books are very expensive here. Do you have this book, Ana Barreiro? Do you have this book that Lindsay said? Please write for us here. So how long time your floor tom can sounds? Do you measure?
It's not about.
I'm very curious about this.
Yeah, it wasn't about really like measuring, like taking out a timer and measuring. It was more just the point of like, we don't usually listen to the notes in between what we play, and we don't pay attention, especially as drummers, to the length of a note. So he was kind of trying to point out the space in between the notes and how that's just as important.
Oh, I see. Okay. Mm-hmm. So when you turning your drums, do you have this kind of feeling in your mind?
When I'm tuning my drums, I more think about actual notes. This exercise was more of a timing thing, where it was like, listen to how long the note rings out just by itself. You know, because as drummers, like, we're mostly just focused on the attack, but he was kind of pointing out, listen to how long that rings out and how that sounds.
Yeah, I see. So Anna said, I have this book, but I haven't read yet. I'm a bad reader. Oh, you are a bad reader. So I
haven't read it yet either.
So we have two bad readers here. So after that, you study at Berkeley. So you have so many instructors in Berkeley. What you can say to us about studying Berkeley? What was much important, or anything like this?
Yeah, I had a lot of great teachers at Berkeley. The main one that I studied with was Bob Gulati, who unfortunately passed away last year. But he taught me so much, and he was definitely my favorite teacher at Berkeley. I was with him for 2 years, so like 4 semesters. And we did a lot of intense practicing. He would give me a lot of stuff to do. Like he would just like overload how much stuff that I had to do that I thought like, I don't even know if it's possible to get this all done. But I really put in the time. And that's like one of the main things he taught me was if you just put in the time and the practice and the work, then you can really play anything. So he would give me a variety of stuff. Like we would do snare solos, jazz transcriptions, of like Elvin Jones and stuff. And then he would also give me permutation sheets where there would be basically like a 1 or 2 bar groove, usually in like 16th notes or something. And then we would do every permutation of that. So we would take that one groove and then shift it over 1/16th note. And that kind of was more of a mental exercise. So you could see how like just changing one note and shifting everything over one changes the entire feeling of the groove. And then I studied with Dave DeCenzo, and that was cool. We mostly worked on groove stuff and timing things, and also a lot of coordination things. So he has this book called Rhythms and Drumming Demystified. We worked a lot out of that, and in there we studied a lot of different patterns with the voice and with the hands. That you then applied around the kit. So you would do ostinatos with your voice, but then you would also go through ostinatos and variations and patterns with all of your limbs. So it was just like a lot for the brain, but it worked really well to help with coordination and timing because you were using 5 limbs at once, your hands, your feet, and your voice. That was really cool. And then I took a lot of labs with Henrique de Almeida, who I think just left Berkeley like a year or so ago to just do teaching on his own. But he was one of my favorite teachers too. My favorite lab that I took with him was a polyrhythms lab. And he writes amazing books if anybody wants to check them out. Basically, in the polyrhythms lab, we went over, every type of subdivision, like going from quarters to eighths to triplets all the way up to 32nd notes. It was first just on the snare, and then it started to delve into how to combine that with the feet, how to separate it with the hands. There's just like a bunch of exercises that you go through, and then navigating around different patterns. There was also a lot of musical examples of how to apply polyrhythms to the kit. Like there were etudes that you could do, so that was pretty cool. I took a lot of labs with him, and then I also took a studio drumming lab, which was awesome because we got to go into the Berkeley studios and record and see what that was like. And then in general at Berkeley, I did a lot of playing with my friends, a lot of recitals, recording, jam sessions all the time, a lot of practicing. It was kind of just 24/7, just music all the time.
Just great. It's unbelievable. So do you can show us a little demonstration of this study that you call voice and hands coordination? Because we have some Brazilian drummers that are very good on this. We have Ana Barreiro here. We have Ramon Montagneur here in Brazil. It's an unbelievable guy. So can you show us just a little?
Yeah, I could explain it. So, because I don't have the book in front of me, but basically with your voice, you would kind of go through every variation. So like if you're doing 16th notes, you could accent all the downbeats. So like 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 E, and then play, the 16th note pattern on the drums. And then you go to accent the E's, like 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and then the N's 1 E and 2 E and and then combining that while you're reading through and changing up what each limb is doing, basically. but it's called Rhythm and Drumming Demystified. And there's a lot of those types of exercises in there.
Do you remember any groove or any musical situation that you really use like the book said? So you applied this exercise. Do you remember using anything like this?
Definitely. One of the, not from that, but something that comes from mind is from the polyrhythms lab. We would do this exercise on the snare and the feet, where we would go through quarter notes on the bass drum, 2 and 4 on the hi-hat, and then with the hands going through quarters, eighths, triplets, sixteenths, all the way up to 30 seconds, and then reversing it back down. I could show you that. I'm gonna just move so you can see me.
No problem.
Okay, so triplets. Back down.
Great.
So, yeah, so that was basically just quarters, eighths, triplets, all the way up to 30 seconds and back down. It's a good warm-up, and it's a good way to kind of get used to the different subdivisions.
Yeah, great, fantastic. So when you did the recording lab, what the most important lesson that you keep with you, or the more than one lesson, of course?
Yeah, in the recording lab, it was a lot about kind of getting a good sound on the drums. Basically, making sure that your levels as a drummer are good, so whoever's recording you doesn't have to do a lot of work to, you know, improve the sound or fix it or whatever. So like one thing that I really keep in mind is kind of the levels of the drums. So dynamics play a big role. Like if you're trying to do dynamics in general, you want your kick drum to be the loudest, your snare to be almost at the same level, but then like your hi-hat should be relatively quiet in comparison. Because if you're just doing everything just one level, it's kind of flat. But you could even hear the difference, you know, if I'm like with the hi-hat really loud compared to the kick and the snare really loud. I'm playing the same way, it just sounds so much better if the levels are all right. And then the toms naturally kind of have a lower response, so you would play the toms a little bit louder than you would the snare drum, just to kind of get that sound out. This is an electronic kit, so it's a little different to like demonstrate that, but to pull out the sound of the toms is different than the snare drum. Yeah, and then keeping the groove really simple is a really big thing, especially like while you're at Berkeley, you're just surrounded by people playing a lot of notes, and you're getting better as a musician, and you kind of just want to play everything you know at once all the time. So I think me and probably, you know, the majority of people going through a similar situation, you just go through this phase of where you think like, oh, I could play all these notes, like this is a great idea, let me just play all the notes at once. but you kind of learn in time to slow down and just focus on the groove and play and serve the music instead. So that's a big thing too.
Yeah. You have so many drum videos on YouTube channel. So what kind of equipment do you use to record your drums and your video? Because now we are living in a new scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Live streaming, Zoom lessons, Instagram, live streaming, YouTube, live streaming. So what do you think about this, and what your equipment, because you have been doing this for a long time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these days I have a Zoom TAC 8 interface. It's Thunderbolt interface with 8 inputs on it, so I could record, 8 inputs, kick, snare, 3 toms, 2 overheads, and maybe like a bottom snare mic or one extra thing that I want to record, a room mic or something like that. It has super low latency, which is why I got it. And then for mics, I have an Audix mic pack. I also have a couple condensers and a couple other microphones that are dynamic mics that I use depending on the situation. Usually I have an SM58 on my snare, and then an Audix, I think it's called i5, a dynamic microphone, kind of like the SM58 on the toms. I think it's a D6 kick mic from Audix, and then 2 ST51s, either XY or like overheads to use for the cymbals and the drum sound overheads. And then I have, DAWs like Pro Tools and Ableton and stuff to record. So like if I'm making a video, I'll record the video either with my phone or with GoPro cameras that I have, and then I'll just mute the audio from there and replace it with the audio that I record from my interface.
Do you do all these things by yourself, or do you have any person to help you?
Right now, I'm just doing it all by myself, which is cool because it's great to like learn that skill and be able to do that and kind of have control over your own sound. It does take some time, but I do enjoy kind of getting better and better at making my drums sound the way I want them to sound.
Yeah, congratulations, because it's a great job. Your studio is at your house?
It's at a rehearsal space, like 10 minutes from me. I'm at my apartment right now, so that's why I'm just like on electronic drums.
Yeah.
So we could do like 2 streams at once. And there's no Wi-Fi there, so if I'm doing a lesson or something, then I'll just use the hotspot on my phone. But yeah, this is just like my little apartment setup. Yeah,
I know. So we have a question here.
Cool.
Let's take a look. Okay. Do you see the question here?
How is starting playing drums with 6 years? Why the drums and not another instrument? Yeah, playing the drums early, I think it definitely has an effect on how you learn and how you develop your playing. I'm always going to be of the belief that you can start to learn at any time, but I don't know any different other than, starting at that age. I think it kind of helps with inherently picking things up in a different way. But at the same time, I think when you're that young, you kind of learn a little bit slower, and you have to kind of just take it at that pace. But I was really grateful that I was able to start learning, that young, because it kind of gives you a head start on, like mastering certain things. I chose drums just because I felt a connection to it when I saw it. I was like, wow, that's so cool. I didn't really feel that for anything else that I saw, that day, or like anything in general. Like I was just like, wow, it'd be so cool to play drums.
Yeah. So if you this is for our watchers. If you have any question, please send us using the question box down below, or just write on the comments. You can, if you are Brazilian, you can write in Português. Se você for do Brasil, pode escrever em português, que eu traduzo para Lindsay. So you won the contest, Hits Like a Girl.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about this year. It was in 2015.
Yeah, so it was like 5 years ago. I was at Berkeley, I think in my second year, and I had entered the contest a bunch of times, maybe like 3 different times, and I had always enjoyed, seeing the videos and entering and everything. And then that year, it was the year when I was studying with my teacher that I mentioned, Bob Gulati, and I was just making so much progress in drumming in general, and just kind of just like improving at such a fast rate. I think at that point, like my drumming had started to come to a different level. So I put a lot of effort and work into creating this track to kind of showcase what I'd been working on. So I put together like a bunch of different genres in one like 4-minute video, and it kind of just like lined it all up and like spliced it together and added transitions and everything. And then I recorded at a studio in Boston near my school, and I entered. And before, when I entered, I didn't even get into like the finals or anything, so I didn't know what to expect. But that year I entered, and like I said, because I think I'd been practicing so much and working at it, my playing kind of just got to this different level, and I was able to get into the finals. And then they had the award show, and then I ended up winning, which was really, really cool, and definitely opened up a lot of opportunities. Like after that, I went to go play at PASIC in Texas. So that next year, or I think that year, I played at PASIC, which was really cool, and I met all these drummers, that I got to be in a community with, and then it also kind of led to getting endorsed with some companies like Zildjian and Bickford and Evans, and then from there I started to do more clinics, which was really cool. So yeah, it kind of just helped me kind of open up that area of my career, which was awesome.
So great. So when you play at PASIC, I was looking for your video. Do you have any video playing in the PASIC? Yeah,
there should be a PASIC video there. Maybe if you like search PASIC 2015.
Yeah, I saw it. So when you record your video and the song, what kind of style did you want to show, or any drum lick, anything special? Well, when you create your video, how your mind worked?
I spent some time watching videos of drum competitions in general to kind of get inspired and look at which videos won and which I liked personally, just in general. And I started to notice some patterns of how they were built, like dynamic wise and variation wise, and what they included. I watched a lot of drum off videos, Guitar Center drum off. And even though that's kind of different because there was no music allowed in that competition, I got to see how people included a variety of styles in one solo, which I liked. And I thought that could be kind of different because a lot of people, especially at the time, were entering videos that were just like one song. And I, especially at that time, was a drummer that played a bunch of different stuff. So I was like, I really want to do, a funk song and some solos and some Latin stuff and even some jazz. Then once I kind of narrowed down like 4 or 5 different things, I tried to line it all up so it would go from least intense to most intense to kind of give the video that kind of feel. And then I basically just pulled from different sources and then just lined them all up and then practiced it and went in and recorded.
Yeah. So we have here Victoria Bialik. Hi, Victoria from Poland.
Cool.
Do you know Victoria?
No, I don't.
Did you saw her playing?
No.
Ashley Sohan tracks.
Oh wow.
Victoria.
Nice.
Yeah, you
I gotta
must
check it out.
see her. Yeah,
Really?
Victoria. Victoria, send your questions for Lindsay. It's a great opportunity to talk with this also drummer. So when you do a drum clinic, what kind of subjects you like to talk about? What your favorite subjects to show in a drum clinic?
Well, when it comes to drum clinics, I'm usually walking into a situation where like I don't know exactly where everybody's at, and especially if it's a big room of people, I don't know, what they want to learn or how long they've been playing and stuff like that. So I try to focus on things that can be applied to anyone, as in like exercises or tips or things that people could walk out and be like, oh, I could work on that and I could build that. So I usually start with playing some tracks just to kind of get the vibe going and perform a little bit to kind of show them, this is how I can play. So what I teach or what I talk about can lead back to this if you like it. So that's what I usually start out with. And then depending on what it is, sometimes I'll come in with some exercises written out or like fills or something like that. And then we could kind of work on it as a group. Like I have been to China and Taiwan, and that was kind of a different experience because I was there for a couple weeks with those people doing a lot of classes per day. So we would kind of work on things all together as a group. So if like people have drum sets in the room and they're able to play, then I'll start to, introduce exercises. One thing that I talk about a lot is applying, patterns to the drum set. So I like to have the idea that if you could just take one small idea and then put it all over the drum set, then that's going to give you limitless possibilities compared to if you were to try to learn like 100 licks or something. So it's kind of about taking something that you can really expand upon. Even if you take like a paradiddle, which is really simple, right, left, right, left, right, left, left. You could put that all over the drum set. But that's useful to people if they're not familiar with it, because if you could, even like a beginner could hack away at like right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, and maybe in like a half hour they could come up with a fill like right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, and still kind of understand the concept of how that goes. Or if there's somebody else in the room that's more advanced, then we could talk about the same thing, applying paradiddles to the kit, but taking it in a more advanced direction. Like say you put paradiddles in your feet at the same time, but have them be at a slower rate. Like if you go right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Already we're putting paradiddles in our feet, so that's kind of new. But then pairing it with the hands, that's something that you could use like in a fill or in a solo. Something like that. Or we could even do like grooves, like stuff like that. Just basically taking a small idea, but creatively trying to expand it from wherever you're at.
Great. What was the most strange question that you heard on your drum clinic? I don't know, because sometimes people have some strange questions for our guests here.
I don't think anything that comes to mind was like totally crazy. I think it's just funny to me how most people have the same questions. You know, most people are like, how do you get doubles really fast in your feet? Or like, how do you get really fast? Or how do you, you know, be able to play like this or that? And it's always kind of like, it's a long journey. And you kind of have to put faith in what, you know, not only me, but any drummer at a certain level will tell you how to do it. You kind of have to commit to the practice of it and stuff like that. So a lot of people kind of have trouble with understanding like this is the path to go and it's not something that happens overnight. I don't know of any like super strange questions that pop out. What about you?
Yeah, sometimes like can you play let's see, a bolero drum groove using brushes?
Okay.
I never played bolero a drum groove using brushes. So when I heard this, I start to trying to play bolero with brushes. So solvent.
Yeah.
So we have a question here on the comments. MP3 drums. Have you ever played an acrylic kit?
I may have tried like an acrylic kit. I don't know if I've really played an acrylic. Oh yeah, I've definitely like played an acrylic kit, probably like at NAMM or whatever. But I don't think. I mean, I've never owned one, and I can't like have a strong memory of like playing on one for a long time. But I've tried a lot of kits like at NAMM and stuff and drum shops.
Yeah. So acrylic. How to speak in English? Acrylic in Brazil is acrylic.
Yeah.
Acrylic. Yeah. Okay. Let's see another question here from Victoria. Thank you, Victoria. Send more questions for Lindsay.
What's your biggest musical dream? I think my biggest musical dream in general is to make a living totally as a musician. And that's something that I've been able to do, which I'm really grateful for. But I think now I'm kind of looking to expand more than just drumming and teaching, but like writing my own music and producing it. So that's what I've been working on a lot recently. So right now it's about mastering that craft more and kind of putting more energy into that and starting to do that. So yeah, my musical dream in general is to be a musician as a career, but now I'm trying to expand that in another direction at the same time.
Yeah, great. Did you see Victoria? Victoria is a brilliant drummer.
Nice.
You have to check it out.
Definitely.
I don't know. Do you know CSTAGGZ 05?
Is that Cory?
I don't know. Because I have a comment here, but I don't know if you want to see it. I'm asking because I don't know if you know her or him. CSTAGGZ 05. Do you know?
I'm pretty sure that's my friend Cory all the way from high school.
So here we go.
Wow. Cory is a great saxophone player.
sorry.
Really
I don't know him. So it's why I ask you. Okay, put it up. Just put it up.
Shout out to Cory. We gotta catch up.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Okay. You compose. So do you compose some tracks for commercials or anything like this? Films?
That would be really cool one day to do that. That's definitely something that would be awesome to do. Right now, I'm focused on making music that's using the drum set, but also I play guitar, and I'm working on producing and stuff like that. So I'm doing a lot of like indie rock type vibe music. But yeah, I would love to compose for like films or commercials or anything like that.
Did you have producing anything with another drummer? You as a producer and another drummer?
No, I haven't. I would be open to that, but I'd rather play drums, at least for now. Like, I'd rather keep my own drumming in it and focus on that. But yeah, I'd totally love to do that. I haven't really done that, no.
Yeah, but let's pretend that you are producing something and there are another drummer, okay? What kind of thoughts that you have as a producer when talk with another drummer? For example, keep it simple, don't play the China, don't use double pedal.
It's funny, like all of those things like could come up. I think bottom line, serving the music is really important. When I'm thinking about like what drum parts to play to something, I'm mostly thinking about what would serve this track, what would be the best complement for all of the other instruments, especially for the main instrument. Like every song kind of features a main riff, or if there's vocals in it, then the singer is usually the most important. Everything kind of has to gel and work together, and there's a balance in making a track. So if there's like a really busy guitar riff, maybe it would sound better if the drums were a little bit more simple. But in general, I think serving the music is the main thing. Being able to have good levels of drums and good tones and great groove, so it doesn't have to be edited too much. Those are all really important things, and kind of just finding a drummer that matches the sound that you're going for, that's super important. Yeah, all those kinds of things. It's kind of a case-by-case thing.
Yeah. So I want to play some of your productions. If you need a drummer, here I am.
Cool. Awesome.
Felipe comment here. I've done some of your challenges, Lindsay. Great stuff. So, Felipe, can you tell us which of your challenges you did? And now we have a little challenge for Lindsay. Actually, is a challenge to her to challenge us. So, what your challenge for our watchers here? The people are watching you here now, and YouTube, because this live streaming will be recorded here on Instagram and YouTube channel Girls on Drums.
Mm-hmm. I would say I think everybody is in this position right now of where we have extra time or just a different lifestyle right now. And I think it's something where if we look back on it in the future, you might feel like, oh, I had all that extra time back then. So take advantage of it right now. That's what I'm trying to do every day, is just focus on my goals and be like, okay, I have this extra time, or whatever, and I'm giving it to accomplishing these goals. And it doesn't have to be something totally crazy. Even if it's like, I'm going to practice for an hour a day, 5 days a week, or I'm going to learn this song or something like that. I think it's a great time to commit to something and follow through on it, because we have this opportunity to probably practice more than usual.
Yeah, great. Felipe is commenting here. She used to do some warm-up challenges on Instagram. Oh, yeah. Really, really pretty cool. So, do you have any warm up to show us right now? Just little warm up.
Yeah, sure. One that I like to do, I call it Flam 7. Sounds like this. So it's left, right, 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 left, 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 right, 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 and then flip it. Right, left, 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 right, 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 left, left, left. Flam, tap, Swiss Army triplet, and then reverse. And it's cool because you could convert it into a fill. You know, something like that.
Are you using anything like this on your video playing at China Drum Clinic?
Did I do it? Did I do anything in 7/8? I don't think I did something in 7/8. Actually, I think there was some stuff in 7/8 that I did there. I don't think that I used that in particular. I think I created that after China.
Yeah. So you played on a Brazilian drum kit. You know that?
What are you talking about?
Your Chinese drum clinic.
Oh yeah, what's that brand? That Brazilian brand. Ottery, yeah. They sound great. They're great drums.
Fantastic. So
yeah.
Do you play another instruments, correct?
Yeah, I do. I play guitar and some bass. I know enough keys to like play melodies and stuff and work out chords. And working on singing. I really love to play more than one instrument. I think I couldn't just play drums. It's kind of, I love it, but it's just not, I just like to do more than that. I like to also be able to play melodies and tonal stuff and kind of combine it with drums. And playing other instruments definitely helps my musicianship because I kind of realize what it's like, and I could feel like what it's like to play guitar and what I would want from a drummer and stuff like that, and vice versa. So I love to play other stuff and then kind of just learn from it.
Great. So we have now just 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes on this streaming. What do you think? Can we stop here and return for more 20 minutes? What do you think? Sounds good?
I'm cool with that.
Okay. So because I don't want to just cut this streaming, and will be very horrible.
For sure.
So people here, I have to just finish this first part of the live streaming. Just finish here, and we are back in 1 minute. Okay?
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Okay, 1 minute. Return here. See you soon.
See you soon.
We are back in Instagram. Here
Hey,
we
how's
go.
it going?
Yeah, here we go. Okay, let's go for more 20 minutes. Thank you, Lindsay, for your time. Let's go to the second part of this live streaming. So let's talk about your gear, because
Okay, cool.
here we are crazy for gear,
Nice.
and to know about the drummer's gear. You are playing with Mapex, Zildjian, and so on. Tell us.
Yeah, my favorite gear I'd have to say is cymbals. I really am obsessed with getting cymbals and even like creating stacks and different combinations of hi-hats and stuff. So yeah, I play all Zildjian cymbals. I have this really cool dark ride cymbal, the K complex ride that I use a lot. I also have a Terry Lynn Carrington signature dry jazz ride cymbal that I love and is surprisingly versatile. One of my favorite hi-hats that I have is actually a prototype of I think 15-inch fat hats. So that gives like a really light, crisp sound that I love. Yeah, those, and I have a 11-inch hybrid splash that I really like. But yeah, there's a lot of cymbals that I like to use. I'm with Evans drum heads. So I use, right now I have the red hydraulics on, and those are just super easy to tune and get some good fat sounds out of. And then Vic First sticks, for a long time I've been using Extreme 5As. And those are kind of just a little bit thicker and longer than a regular 5A, so it gives you a fatter sound and a longer reach.
Do you use the same symbols for all styles?
It depends on the situation. Like if it's a song or a gig or whatever it is, I'll kind of just imagine what those symbols would sound like, or try them out and try to fit the vibe of that song. Some are versatile, some, like, I definitely have cymbals that will be able to cover almost anything. But sometimes you just try to pick out what you think will complement the music the best.
Yeah, your drum kit is very beautiful. I read one.
Yeah.
I read one. Yeah. There is a special edition for your Mapex. It's custom.
Yeah, so I won it when I won the contest, Hit Like a Girl, and it was part of the prize was you get to design your own Mapex My Identity kit. So I went online and I got to choose like the wood, so I chose maple, and then you got to choose, the sizes of all the drums. So I have 10, 12, 14, 16 toms. I think a 20 by 14, or I think 20 by 14 kick, or 20 by 16. And then I got a deeper snare drum. So it's, I think it's like 8 inches in depth. Because usually snares are like 5 inches in depth. But I really wanted a deep snare drum. And I really like to use that. And then, they also gave me some hardware with that, some armory pedals and stuff like that. So I've been using that for a while. Yeah,
it's the same kit that you won.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have another drum kit, another Mapex drum kit for example, for a little stage or a little gig, a bar gig, or anything like this?
Right now I have, like, at home, I have a Pearl kit, a Pearl session studio that I got back in like 2007 as a kid. And then I have a bunch of snare drums. Like, I have a Mapex Armory snare drum, like some Pearl snare drums, a Pearl piccolo snare, just like a bunch of random snare drums that I like to have as options. I used to have a Sonar Safari kit that I would use like at jazz gigs or like small gigs. I I used to have another Mapex kit, but I'm not like with Mapex anymore. I'm kind of like in between like choosing a new brand, so I'm not really like brand loyal when it comes to drums right now. But yeah, my main kit is still the Mapex My Identity kit.
Yeah, I saw that you use the switch kick from a hat.
Yeah.
Did you try the different models like the brushes or the rods to play the drum kick?
Yeah, I have them all. They sent all of those to me, and I made a little video on it that kind of demonstrates it. I mostly use, I forget what it's called, but it's like one of the main beaters where one side is plastic and the other side is like a very hard felt.
Yeah.
And I like it because you could switch up which side you want without a drum key super fast. You know, it's just, you just go in and twist it. And also it's cool because you could just switch that out really fast. They have a lot of cool designs that you could try out. There was, I think, this like conga beater one where it was like a flat kind of beater with leather wrapped around it. Yeah, that was pretty cool. The brush one is super quiet, so like, you know, you can only use certain ones for really quiet situations, but they have a lot of options.
Yeah, I saw this equipment here in Brazil. Now I'm using the Vickford bass drum beaters, the VKB5 and VKB3, I guess, to play drum, to play jazz, the softer one and the harder one. I don't know. This beaters was a suggestion from Peter Herskine.
Nice. Yeah, those are great beaters. I've seen those.
From Peter Herskine. Do you are doing lessons, online lessons right now?
Yeah, for sure. I teach a lot of online private students via Skype. So we'll do like weekly lessons. I have like around 20 weekly students right now, and then, you know, more on top of that, kind of just randomly. But yeah, we work on whatever they're trying to work on. I have a big range of students. You know, some are kids, some are adults. They all have different goals. You know, some people are trying to go to school for it. Other people are more kind of just doing it as a hobby. So we'll learn, but it's always the same path, really. You know, it's about learning the technique and what the role of a drummer is, and playing songs and learning grooves and just like everything, how to be creative and apply foundational stuff to the kit. So I cover a lot of stuff in lessons and kind of just take it where people want to go with it.
Great. All of your students, all of them have a drum kit to do the lesson, or at least a drum pad?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they all have their own pads or kits. Some just have an electronic drum set, but most people do have their own setup.
What you do if the drum student don't have a drum kit for doing the lesson, or any even a drum pad? What kind of suggestion you do?
I think bare minimum you need a drum pad on a drum stand. You know, you can only do so much with, you know, playing on pillows or whatever. And a drum pad isn't that hard to access, you know. So I think as long as they have a drum pad, we could get started. Some people I've had start on just a pad, you know, that's all they could get at a time. And then they eventually do get drum sets. So that works. Some people have practice pad kits or electronic kits. So we work with what we can, but yeah, it's kind of the bare minimum to have just a pad.
Yeah. Do you use microphones on your drum kit when doing the lessons?
I have, but sometimes just like one microphone, like if it's a USB mic or something, it picks up my voice and a really solid sound of the kit. So like, yeah, I can use an interface and stuff, but I've been able to mostly just do it with a microphone. Like, it's also more about me listening to them than it is about them listening to me.
Okay, I see. So let's talk about your musical projects. Let's forget for a moment this situation that we are living now. Let's talk about your plans, your music, your band for the future.
Yeah. So drum wise and drum teaching wise, it's pretty much just continuing to build and get bigger and better. Continuing with the teaching people, and I love to travel and do clinics. Like I mentioned, I've been to China and Taiwan, and I actually had plans to go back this year. Obviously, we couldn't make that happen because of COVID, but I definitely want to go back there. Both of those places and more to teach around the world, something that I really love to do. And then performance-wise and music-wise, other than like playing for other people and like sessions and gigs and stuff, I'm working on just making my own music and building off of that. So right now I'm in this time of just working on producing and building up songs and stuff. And then, you know, soon I'm going to start to put out content and then hopefully like play shows and stuff around that and kind of just add that in with all of the other things that I've already been doing.
Great. Did you try some kind of Brazilian groups, Brazilian music already?
I've done a lot of like Afro-Cuban groups. One of my teachers in high school was really into Afro-Cuban, so he taught me like so much Afro-Cuban music. I'm trying to remember the name of the book. It was by Frank Malabé, this Afro-Cuban book. We finished that book. Brazilian, like I've always been a huge fan of Brazilian music, but I've never really gotten deep into it. You know, I just know like the bossa nova. I used to know like certain like grooves, like the bolero. But yeah, I've never really gotten like super deep into it.
Yeah, no problem. I asked because, well, I'm Brazilian drummer. We have Brazilian here, and we have some very grooves around the world, like bossa nova, like you said, like samba.
Samba.
This kind of stuff. So, do you have any comments for the young drummers that will be watching this streaming after or are watching now about doing a professional career as a musician, not just like a drummer, but as a musician, like doing your own website, like yours behind me? It's a professional website, like doing some kind of material for social media, whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I think in general, if this is something that you really love to do and you're passionate about it, then put all of your energy into it. We do live in, you know, this time of where social media and content is really important. So it's never too early to start. Even if you're a kid and you're like, well, I've only been playing for a year or whatever, start posting now. Because I remember, you know, I've been posting videos since I was like maybe 13 or 14 or something, and posting online has actually been one of the biggest things that helped me grow because I got feedback. So even if you're like, well, I'm not, you know, playing as good as this person or that person, start now and start, you know, getting feedback, start, you know, collaborating with people your age and stuff. Try to, if you can, try to get with a teacher that you can really learn a lot from. That's super important. because like YouTube videos and online lessons are super helpful, but it can only kind of take you so far. You need a mentor, or at least to be around musicians, that you look up to learn from them. Always try to play the music that you really love. Try not to hop on like trends or anything like that, and just have fun with it. The earlier you start, the better, because it's kind of like if you have a lot of time to put into something, then it just builds momentum. So, just start now and just have fun with it.
Great. So let's pretend that you are producing a Girls on Drums Festival issue at LA. You are producing. You have to choose 5 top drummers that you choose. Yeah, you are the one. Okay, so we have just 4 more drummers.
Okay, they have to be female?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I would choose probably Terry Lynn Carrington, who's an amazing jazz drummer that I actually studied with a little bit at Berkeley. I got to take a lesson from her, and she's great. She has a lot of awesome music. I've seen her live before. Cindy Blackman, Pocket Queen. She's amazing. One more. Okay. Maybe Benzella Joy. She plays for Beyonce now. She's a friend of mine. She's amazing. So that would be a really great lineup, I think.
Yeah. So if she is a friend of yours, you can recommend this this live streaming
for sure.
Yeah, and maybe we can do a live streaming with her.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think?
I'll let her know. Sure.
So let me know if you said something for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
Okay, we are just finished now. So you have the spot here. You can say what you want to say to the drummers. Anything, any message for the people here?
Thank you so much for having me. This is really fun. I hope we could do something like this again. For everybody that tuned in, thanks for watching. If you're a drummer and you're playing, keep going, keep having fun with it. Feel free to reach out and connect with me. Thank you so much. This was really fun.
Yeah, thank you. So, Lindsay, thank you for your time. Thank you for enthusiasm and your patience. You're awesome. You're very kind. Thank you a lot. We hope that find you at our live streaming, next live streaming on this profile, and be our guest to send your questions and participate with another drummers that will come. So we have a little surprise. September 20, we will have here the Dorothea. Do you know Dorothea Taylor?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, Dorothea Taylor and another great drummers like you. So thank you for participating. Thank you. It was an honor for us to have you here. And that's it.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. So don't go away from StreamYard. We talk a little bit on backstage.
Awesome.
Okay?
Sounds good.
Thank you. Be safe. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.